Let's discuss the next section in our web terminology. Let's continue with what a browser is. You know, you're probably using a browser right now to read this. You know, and as you ask the question, what's my favorite browser? Well, I think you could get a whole bunch of answers on that. For me personally, I like Safari, Netscape, Chrome, and that should tell you a lot about me. That probably shares a little bit more about my preferences than anything. Browsers are a way to access the World Wide Web. What a browser does is it interprets the HTML code, including the text, the images, links, and so the browser is really your access that way. Next term is a text editor. One of the things we'll be doing in this class is we'll be playing with text editors, using text editors to write HTML code. A text editor can be basically any software application that will allow you to save out a text document. WordPad, Notepad, Simple Text, Text Wrangler, those are all examples of text editors. And so you write the code in a text editor and then display the code in a browser. Markup language. A markup language really is what it says. You mark up or tag different kinds of text or links or things in HTML. So HTML is probably your most widely known markup language. It stands for Hypertext Markup Language. The hypertext portion is, you know, obviously the linking of elements, text, images, those kinds of things. And so we'll be learning a lot more about. You'll be an expert in HTML and markup languages as you continue through this course. Paths. Paths really point to a file system location. And what does that mean? Well, how do I reference a certain directory name or a file or an image within a unique location in a file system? And so there are a number of different kind of paths that you can use to access those kind of resources. You can use some absolute paths that'll go directly to a web server anywhere on the internet, or you can use relative paths that would be more localized ways of finding file system files. A GIF. GIF stands for Graphics Interchange Format. A GIF, what a GIF is it's one of your most widely used image file formats on the web. And, you know, its companion is JPEG. That's another commonly used file format on the web, primarily for photographs. So GIFs, you know, oftentimes you'll use those with logos or those kind of files. JPEG you're going to be using with photographs and that kind of a file. A PNG, it's probably your third most popular graphic file format. It's probably the one that's increasing in use the most right now. And there's some real advantages of using PNGs over GIFs or JPEGs out on the web. And so in class we'll talk about when to use which type of file format. But those are primarily file formats, graphics file formats for the web. Tags, again, we talked a little bit about hypertext markup language consisting of a set of tags that are enclosed in angle brackets. So that's what we're going to be using to tag out elements on a page. ISP is short for Internet Service Provider. They provide access to the Internet. URL stands for Uniform Resource Locator. It's basically a web address. Now, when I say web address, what I mean is the whole web address. The whole http:// CNN www.cnn.com/ whatever. So that URL is the full internet address. DNS is short for Domain Name System. What the DNS is it translates domain names into IP addresses. And an IP address is simply a number that corresponds to a specific, say, a web server, for example, or other computer on the network. That IP address then is translated to the domain name. The domain name translate domain's name into IP address. So the name then matches the number, and that's really how you access servers and resources on the internet. Host server. I think most people are familiar with what a server is on the internet. It's a computer with a unique IP address. Sometimes it has domains associated with it, sometimes it doesn't, to serve up different kind of things. Client, part of the client server architecture, the client is basically the personal computer or the workstation that is used to access maybe the server or other things. Who is? This is an internet service that provides information on domain names or IP addresses and other information, really. You can use Whois to find out a lot of different types of registration information about domains. HTTP stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol. It's really the protocol standard for web browsers and servers to communicate. The companion to HTTP is HTTPS, and what that stands for is Hypertext Transfer Protocol over SSL, or secure. So it's a secure way of doing things, and any time you do a transaction online or you buy something online, hopefully you're using an HTTPS protocol. That means that it's encrypted, and some of the data, such as banking or purchasing or Visa or transaction information online, isn't sent over the internet in plain text. It's encrypted so that you have security with that. SSL stands for Secure Socket Layer. It's basically a secure protocol for sending information over the internet. Again, it's another security protocol. A certificate. Most all the websites, hopefully all the websites you use to buy things on, have a SSL certificate associated with it. What that does is it identifies a specific website as who they are, so that you have some confidence in they are who they say they are. A domain. And we could go on a long time about domains. Domains are a big part of the internet. Most of you have probably looked at buying a domain. Something.com. Anyway, there's lots of different domains, and you may not be aware of all the different domain endings that are available in the world. There's hundreds of them. The top level domains that you think about most often are .com, .net, .org, .mil, .edu, .gov, and then you get into the country code domains where you'll have .uk or .jp for Japan and the United Kingdom. And each country has their own country code as well. And they're always adding new kind of domains, and they've recently added basically build your own domain name ending and pay us a lot of money for it. So that continues to expand the domain space that's out there. A domain registrar is somebody who sells domains to the public. GoDaddy.com is probably one that you're familiar with. Not my favorite, but definitely one that many people are familiar with.